Coinbase showed me a thing or two about standing out.
Dre and Snoop showed me why it's team over everything.
And Carvana? Well, Carvana just pissed me off. Da-da-da-da-da. He's the motherfucking less ARD. And we've got 3 takeaways for salespeople from the big game today on Full Funnel. Hey everyone, I'm Raj Nation, he's Tyler Lessard, and you're watching Full Funnel, the weekly show that actually passed to be this year's Super Bowl halftime show because the offer was frankly just too low. Brought to you exclusively on Sales Feed, Full Funnel is the only programming that's faster than Domino's because we slice one hot topic 3 ways and deliver it to you all fresh in under 10 minutes. Today's order, we're sharing our takeaways from this year's big game, so let's dive right in. Top Funnel. In my book, the single best and most effective ad from this year's Super Bowl was the Coinbase QR code commercial. Coinbase paid $14 million for the 60-second spot featuring that bouncing QR code across the screen and received 20 million hits to their website in under 1 minute. A lot of people couldn't help, myself included, but take out their phone and scan that weird image on the screen. They also doubled their market cap in the process, so clearly this was a huge success. Tyler, what's the lesson for sellers here?
Well, they stood out from all the other noise during the Super Bowl. They didn't have big celebrities in their commercials. They weren't doing big storytelling. They actually took a very unique approach to become the most interesting ad during the session. Now, that's exactly the way you should be thinking as a salesperson. How can you be the most interesting person in your prospect's inbox? And when they pick up that phone, when you're making a cold call, are you standing out in your first few words, or are you saying the same thing as everybody else? So my challenge to all of you salespeople is to adopt that mindset. How can I be irresistible when I show up in their inbox, on the phone, or in social with things like a video, with something like an audio note on LinkedIn, or just some really creative approaches to how you deliver your message?
The fact that they were able to effectively create this pull attention, right? Instead of pushing themselves onto people, they actually got people to come to them. And I think that really speaks to this idea of how do you stand out in the inbox, right? Obviously, you're sending them an email, but how do you get them to want to come to you? And on top of that, look at what Coinbase did effectively here. 2 years ago at Super Bowl, that commercial would have been entirely ineffective because you know what? Pre-pandemic, QR codes were on their way out. But in the last 2 years, pretty much everyone has scanned a QR code to access a menu. There was no hesitation or what is that? Everyone knew what it was. So really think through how can you leverage new technology or modern consumption patterns to make your promotion, to make your prospecting, to make your sales efforts more effective? Does that mean you use video? Does that mean you capitalize on gifts? Does that mean you send them some cryptocurrency? I don't know. Really look at where is the technology going and how can you use it in your favor. It's fun.
The greatest halftime show ever, don't at me, had everyone over the age of 30 nodding their heads and dancing in their homes, and everyone under the age of 30 recording TikToks of their family members as zombies. Now, Dre and Snoop showed up and showed out, and it was a better show than if, say, just Eminem had performed on his own.
This was different than like Aerosmith and NSYNC and Nelly. This was different than Justin Timberlake and Janet Jackson because in those cases, they had never performed together at any other point in their lives aside from that halftime show. Whereas in this year's edition, Dre has produced Mary J. Blige, Kendrick, Eminem, Snoop, 50, right? They were already a team going into this thing, and they've also all performed on stage together in the past. And that's a huge difference because that's how you really get across that team effect. Now, what does that mean for a seller? You know, the number of times where the seller is like, okay, I'm going to pull in my engineer for this next call, but you don't really know why you're pulling in your engineer. It's just like, you know that, hey, in a sales process, an engineer is supposed to get involved, and then they come on and they're a little bit confused. So the idea here is, can you be more like Shady Aftermath? Can you be more like Beats by Dre and the team effect, deliver that, and less like Nelly and Aerosmith, where it's as if you've never performed together before. So tee up your team members the right way and make sure you're actually delivering a unified front to your potential buyer.
And somebody that people often forget to bring into bigger opportunities are the person in your own business who represents the persona of who you're selling to. So if I am targeting CFOs, yeah, I'm going to bring my sales engineer in to help with the demo and we're going to have a united front. But I might also tap our own CFO and have them get involved in the conversation as a peer with that individual on the other side. Certainly book a little bit of time beforehand to brief them on the opportunity so they have the context for who this business is, what their interests are, and what you're trying to accomplish with them. And make sure that they're comfortable with not only knowing who the company is, but who is this individual that they're going to be interacting with. And finally, they need to know the outcome you want them to achieve. And then they can set up a conversation to try to make sure that they walk away with that specific output so you can start to move that deal forward.
Bottom fun. Now, there was one Super Bowl commercial in particular that made every salesperson cringe.
Let's actually cut to the commercial so you can all see what we had to witness.
Did I tell you I bought our car from Carvana?
Yeah, Ma.
It was so easy. I found the perfect car.
Under budget, too. And I get 7 days to love it or my money back. I love it. I thought online meant no one to help me. But Susan from Carvana
Had all the answers.
she didn't try to upsell me. Not once. Because they're not salespeople. Where do you guess who just checked in on me?
Mom.
Susan from Carvana.
We'll drive you happy at Carvana.
What's the deal? Why are you ragging on salespeople like that? Carvana, I've had enough of this. I'm ready to throw down over this bullshit.
If you want to throw down in fisticuffs, fine. I've got Jack Johnson and Tom O'Leary waiting for you, right here.
Raj, calm down. It's not Carvana's fault. They are just one of many people who still have the perception that salespeople are just sleazy, untruthful, people that want to sell you something over anything else. How can we all change the perception of our wonderful profession? We all need to start to be as genuine as possible in helping our prospects solve their problems. Don't sell them, actually help them. Obsess over their problems, not over your solution, and you will come across as a genuine, truthful salesperson who's really there to help.
I think a big part of that too is owning the fact that you are a salesperson. Don't try and defer or deflect it. One of my clients that I'm actually working with right now, I observed in a good portion of their calls, they would say, "Oh no, I'm not a salesperson. If you end up working with us, I'm going to help onboard you and implement you. But I'm not a salesperson." And I'm like, well, no, just own it, right? Like, why are you running away from that? It doesn't have to be a bad thing. In fact, it should be a good thing. On the other hand, don't swing the pendulum so far in the other direction. When I got in this morning, I looked at my inbox and I had another email, because I get these all the time, where the person who was prospecting me, the title said, "Raj, collaboration?" Now, when I click on that email, I'm thinking someone wants to partner with me on a webinar or some content or something like that. But what were they pitching? Me buying from them, me becoming their customer for software development, right? So don't try and skirt the issue and talk about collaboration or partnerships if your goal here is for them to become a customer of you. The close. In top funnel, we talked about how to stand out and create pull attention like Coinbase did.
In mid-funnel, we talked about bringing your whole posse to your sales opportunities, but doing so in a way where you're the Dr. Dre, producing it and bringing them together.
And in bottom funnel, we covered how you can change the perception of sales so we don't see another commercial like Carvana did this year, selling out sales people. Our funnel is full. We hope you can get back out there now and fill up yours. Please like, comment, and subscribe before you head out of here. He is Tyler Lessard. I am Raj Nation. You have been watching Full Funnel exclusively on Sales Feed. We'll catch you next week. But in the meantime, remember, take a seat and get ready for the next episode. Hey. Close deals every day.